So I frequently explain yoga breathing to students as that the inhale goes up to the peak, and then the exhale gradually goes to empty the body. So when you're aware of the body as a giant breath mechanism with the abdomen, the diaphragm and the lungs, so the abdomen at the bottom, slightly out of view there, and if I go to the other camera view, you'll be able to more easily see that when the body is upright and the chest is wide expanded on the inhale, and on the exhale with the belly towards the spine, the breath comes out through the nose. In inhale, we're breathing smoothly, the whole body is large, and on the exhale, the contraction propels the breath out. So a very simple model in yoga, that when we breathe in and out through the nose, and we're aware of the abdominal area of the breath, that we are taking in the full chunk of breath, and in a very big way, then that is the yin and yang, or like that, and that there's a feeling of that the spot in the dark, or the dark spot in the light area, that there's a sense of wholeness around the circle, and that there's the possibility of flowing from the one to the other. So that wave-like flow is a smooth wave shape, which is also an indication of how pranayama is meant to happen. So as we know that when we take a large inhale and we hold the breath in, we're not going to stop breathing forever. We're simply holding the prana, the potential of the breath. And when we exhale, we also know that when we get to the end of the exhale, that it will soon turn back into an inhale. However, the yoga pranayama practice is very much aimed at extending the time in the breath, so that we don't breathe shallow breath. So an example of a shallow breath would be, or a sniffing, sort of not a deep breath. And that's not calming, in fact it has the opposite effect. So taking a slow, large breath with a long, slow exhale has a calming effect on one. So when you look at the Yin-Yang symbol like that, how can I make it like that? You will see that it has a wave-like shape or form to it. So this little picture hangs up in my yoga studio, where I constantly have it in my awareness. And one of the earliest images I've ever had of holism, the complete and the flow and the change and philosophy and so on, like many other people, has been through the Yin and Yang symbol. And frequently the Yin and Yang symbol is seen as an Eastern symbol, but it's really truly a universal symbol. So you could even imagine that this is the West and that's the East, and we have a bit of West and East and a bit of East and West, that type of awareness. When we see that, like in the image, that it's painted like that, it doesn't change. It'll only change if you turn the picture around. But in reality, life is always an inhale or an exhale waiting to happen. Simultaneously, we're always in the present moment, and in a certain sense, the yin and yang does actually look like that. So it's not truly fixed, it's always changing. But when we're in the present moment, the image is, in a sense, an accurate depiction of yin and yang. Being in the present moment, we are here and now. And as we inhale, we're also here and now. When we get to the end of the inhale, we're still in the here and now, and so on and so on. In other words, we're always forever part of the one whole, the fullness of all time, here and now. So when we're coming back to, and I'm going to just switch there to the other camera, to the idea that wherever we are in our practice, we'll always be either filling up or emptying out. So if you're thinking of night turning into day, that's a roughly 12-hour cycle. The tide of the ocean is similar. The way that the sun turns, rather the way that the earth turns around the sun, would be a similar principle. The main understanding that we get from this is that the wholeness the holistic, or in specifically the yoga, the Vedas, non-duality is when we're aware of the tides as a part of the whole. So we don't get stuck on one polar opposite. So peace is the result of the opposite of polarity. Polarity means I know this, you don't know that, or this is my point of view, that's your point of view. And that often can add to either irritation, anger, resentment, also very much so to war. So some kind of ideological war would be a part of that, or it could be a personal war at home or at the workplace. So in yoga, when we connect to the thought, the idea of inner peace, we're aware that we are in duality, but that there also is a duality that maybe that is actually we are able to access that non-duality, where we understand that we contain a bit of both, of whatever polarity is present. True inner peace or bliss, happiness, is that moment when we transcend the polarity and we experience the whole. So happiness isn't one side of the polarity, I have or I don't have, which is unhappiness generally. Agony and ecstasy, that's clearly a polarity. Inner peace contains in awareness that there is agony, there is ecstasy. So when we change back to the picture, the image there of the yin and yang, and we're thinking of a largest breath that we hold in, and we exhale it now, and ideally we're looking on our screens at that yin and yang. And then when we close our eyes for a few moments, we will be aware that we have this image and this potential of ins and exhales, and the whole of the both within us, alive. And we realize that inner peace is truly within us when we connect into this balance. So in a certain sense, we are always out of balance, or we may say we're always in balance as well. So the great understanding of yoga, according to behind me in the studio here, the Om, is that the Om is the oneness. It is the sound that we make to vibrate with the whole, all that is. And in yoga, that's very much the principle of Om and what we call all that is. That's not a dogmatic or religious, but it's a philosophical or metaphysical reality. So the oneness here is the vibration of all that is. When we look at the image again of the yin and yang, we'll see that there's a vibration and a vibrational reality to this universe, where the one sound that we make here in this room will vibrate in our body on the inner plane, but that same vibration in a certain sense is also the vibration of the whole universe, everything that is. So our body, our mind, where we are, wherever we are here and now, contains to some essential vibrational quality the vibration of the whole universe. It may be a speck of dust of light in the dark, or the other way around. Hope that helps a little bit to make us understand, or help us understand, yin and yang, duality, oneness, non-duality, and this principle of Om in yoga. So when we take a large inhale and we bring the hands to prayer at the chest with our eyes closed, and we are connecting into the Om, or the Om in yoga, A, U, and M. And we're taking a large inhale, and we're going to make an Om sound together if you would like that. Otherwise, you can just listen. Om. We can feel how the oneness of the Om sound helps us to access an aspect of our inner peace. That is our inner vibrational peace. It gives us the circle around the yin and yang, whether we're in the night or the dark. We enter into this non-duality, oneness. And thank you for practice with me.